There we go. Going live in 3, 2, 1. Oh, this is TNZ episode number 1, and we have Tina on again this evening. How are you doing, Tina?
Doing good. How are you, Zoom?
I'm okay. I'm okay. The weather here is kind of interesting. For some reason, we're getting really hot weather, and then we get like a day of really cold weather, and then it goes back to really hot again. So I have the air conditioning on a couple days in a row. Then I have the heaters turned on a couple of days in a row. So it's kind of going back and forth till it gets really warm. So
Feel
how are,
that.
how are you doing? How's your area? How are you doing in your area?
Oh, it's pretty good. Um, about the same, but it hit like mid 60s, so threw the windows open and loving that breeze coming in. So yeah, it's pretty good. Feels like
Cool.
spring.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not too keen with the I'm not too keen with the heat right now because one of my actually two of my air conditioner units went down, so I'm down to one. So I already bought a new one. I just haven't put it in there. It's kind of it's a 90-pound unit, so it's going to be kind of fun putting it into that window.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, that's not exactly. So I'm not looking forward to doing that, but I got to do it very soon though. So.
Right.
All right. I got some things we could talk about here. I'm going to bring up some questions that I've been asking on my channel just for fun. And I thought I'd run them by you. All right. Okay. So here's questions I've been asking my viewers over the past couple of weeks. Get your response on these. Give me 1 second. Here's the first question. I don't know if you can see that okay. I'm not sure how big that is for you. Sunshine, cloudy skies, rain, or snow? What's your favorites?
Ooh, I'm controversial opinion. I'm a snow girl.
Ah,
I love snow. When I moved to Cleveland, I brought my winter boots from Wisconsin, and every year I get so bummed out that I can't use my hardcore winter boots. And this year I finally got to. Um, One of the most memorable things about this year was going into Target. I was like, should I bring my winter boots? Should I? Oh, finally I can wear my winter boots. And no one had winter boots. And I was just marching around the store. I love snow. I love shoveling. I am probably in the 1% of
actually,
everywhere.
actually, you would be actually in the 8%.
The
Actually, because
8%.
8%, yes. So, 72% overwhelmingly said they like sunshine. 7% said cloudy skies. 9% said rain. 8% for snow, and 4% another weather condition that they could choose themselves. So I that was like usually that was like a mix between some of those put together. So, um, now some of the people I will say answered this in a different way than I didn't expect. Some of them took the question as to meaning as to what was going on when the question was asked, like what was their current weather condition. So they answered it
Mm,
that way instead. What I meant to say was, what was your favorite? I didn't put that in there. So I would have to say I'm not a big sunshine person because I burn too easily. Um, so
relatable.
it's
Yeah.
I usually in the summertime I'm usually the one that wears long sleeve shirts and pants just so I don't get all red and then burned and everything. So cloudy skies are okay, partly cloudy skies. I kind of like those. I do like the snow, uh, but except for where I live right now, my house is on a steep hill and it's on a private road, and so it doesn't get treated like the rest of the area. So it's driving up and down the hill can be extremely hazardous. Aside from that, though, I do like the snow. I actually love driving in the snow, and a lot of people seem in this area seem to be afraid of it, but that's actually something I like to do. So it's kind of like a mix, I guess. A little bit of snow, a little bit of cloudy skies. It's the sunshine is in some moderation, not too much though. So
Yeah. I I couldn't handle living in a place where it was one weather all the time because that would just get old. And that's what's nice about the Midwest and the East Coast, where it's just not unpredictable, but the change is so important. You get really sick of nothing but heat, hot heat, like in the South. I just can't do that.
mhm,
No, no, no.
I got you. Yeah, the humidity can get kind of obnoxious too. So, but yeah. The okay, now this is the next question. Shoes or barefoot? Let me read the responses first before you give yours. Answer number one: I love wearing shoes. Barefoot for me. Third response: I prefer sandals. Response number four: I often just walk around in socks. And the final response was: I don't care.
One thing missing from this list is slippers.
Ah,
But that's indoors. Outside, ooh, ooh, this
yeah,
is really tough.
yeah. This is for people there's a barefoot. I got this idea from the barefoot movement. I don't know if you've heard about that, where people actually walk outside without shoes.
Yes,
So this is basically not just like inside their house, but actually outside and walking around in public.
I'm a shoe person. I am a shoe person. Um, I have a pair of bright yellow shoes, and I have some flip flops, some chunky flip flops from the 90s, and shoe game strong. Barefoot, oof, not in the city. If I lived outside, it sounds kind of like where you are in the country with, a nice hill and stuff like that. Definitely. Um, I wear my sandals with socks, embarrassingly enough. So I do like sandals as well. I would say, um, I'd say I prefer sandals. I'm gonna go with the 6%.
Okay. Yeah, as you can see, overwhelmingly, people love to wear shoes. I'm in the category of wearing shoes, but bringing up the fact that I'm in the country, I walking where I live, you would have to wear shoes. It's. I live on a gravel road, and there's no way you can walk around without having very sore feet if you were to walk around in barefoot all the time. So, I could the most I could do is walk out on my deck and my driveway, and that's about it. I have to wear shoes all the time. So, um, the as far as like walking inside, since it's like getting close to spring, I'm doing some major cleaning in my house. There's stuff all over the place, so I wear shoes all the time inside as well. Just until I get everything all straightened up again, because there's stuff all over the place until I get this all figured out what I'm going to do with everything. Um,
Right.
but yeah, the shoes category is definitely the high percentage there, 76%. There was another question. Actually, if I can, let me see if I can find it real quick. It's kind of funny that you brought up socks with sandals. I had actually asked that exact question. Let me see if I can find that here.
Great
Uh,
minds think alike.
let's see. Oh, it must be on one of my other channels. Oh, and by the way, this came in with my eggs the other day. I went to get my eggs, and my egg had a nipple. So I just thought I'd take a picture of it to show everybody what it looked like. We got just a bunch of weird responses to that one. Let me see if I can find here. Let me find. I think it was on this channel right here.
Gosh.
There we go. I think. Oh, hold on. No, I don't know where I put it. I don't remember. Oh well. I can't seem to find it. I don't want to spend too much time searching for that one question. It was basically a little simple question like, do you like sandals with socks? And I think several people said no. I think the majority were no, they were against it. So I'm sorry, you're not in the majority on that one. So
Ah, man.
so, you have a movie you'd like to talk about today, is that right?
Okay, yes, I do. So I am a fan of B movies. I have my favorite channel on my Roku TV is called the B Movie Channel, and popped up one day just hanging out on a Saturday, and this ridiculous movie from 1986 called The Marauders came on my TV. And I've never seen a movie like this, in that I've never seen a movie so uh it's just senseless, pointless, angry, angsty, with some of the funniest Australian dialogue ever. And it's great. I would love to show you and your viewers what this movie's all about.
Yeah, so it's just to let everyone know, you sent me a link to the movie last night. I had a chance to watch it all the way through. I give you my basic assessment without giving too much away yet. By the time I finished watching the movie, I really had no idea what had just happened. So, uh, would you agree with that kind of idea or a sentiment there?
Sounds like we watched the same movie.
No,
Yeah,
no,
sounds like we watched.
so how would you describe what would you like to how would you like to introduce this movie?
I would introduce this movie as two Australian 80s hairband looking guys
Yeah, that's good.
have bloodthirst for no reason, and they run around just trying to harm people, kill people, carjack people, uh, because they can. That's you got 80 minutes of that, and it's pretty entertaining. Pretty entertaining.
I'll bring up a image right here so we can see what you're talking about the hair. Here's the there we go. Here we go. Get a chance to see
Yeah,
that hair really stood out for me. I was like, whoa, look at that.
the eyeliner.
Oh yeah, yeah. I noticed that too. The two main characters all both had eyeliner. I was like, I kept on saying, are they wearing makeup? So
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
the
They yeah,
go ahead,
good.
go ahead.
No, just that it was so the director of the movie is and I can't speak from knowledge of like having seen more of his movies, but this was this guy's like first movie. His brother is one of the actors, one of the main actors in this as well, and they did all their own makeup, all their own stunts, and this was definitely a passion project. We'll put it politely.
The now I'd like to add that this is not really this has something to do with the movie. When I first saw this, I don't know if you know, but I'm into cars. I like cars. So the car that they were driving was what stood out to me at first. I'll bring an image of that car up. I had it right here. Oops, thought I had it there. Give me 1 second here. I'll try to find that again.
You're a car guy?
Yes, yes, very much so.
Nice.
Yeah, so this is the car. Here's the car that they were driving in the movie. The main car that the two. I don't know if you call them protagonists because they were, I guess, not even the anti-heroes. They were just bad guys. I
Yeah, it's tough to put a label on them since they're just bloodthirsty killers just running around.
the car that they're driving right there. When I first saw, it, I was like, oh, that's really cool because it's this is a car. This is a car that's unique to Australia. It's an XB Falcon 500. They were only made in Australia, but they were sold in New Zealand, Australia, and they were shipped to countries that had where cars could drive, where people drove on the left side of the road. This is a it has what's called the GS Sport Package. There's a if you look on the side, it's green with a yellow stripe along the side. Um, that that's
Yeah.
that's this. It's a sport. It's not. It what it does is it gives a sporty look. It's not necessarily means it's all performance, but it gives that sporty image. So you could buy this car and not have the all-out performance car. It has the hood with the little scoops in the front, which was usually saved for like the sportier model cars, and it has the four headlights because the cars that had that weren't the sporty model only had two headlights. So it was like when I saw this, like, wow, that's really cool because these cars are they were only, like I said, only made in Australia and sold in very limited countries, never sold in the United States. And when I saw them, I was like, oh, I know exactly what that is. I was like, that's so cool. It's like, and the this particular model was made between the years 73 and 76. I don't know exactly without looking at the actual identification. I wouldn't be able to tell you what year it was actually made, but it was sometime between those years. So they're actually pretty sought after nowadays. And the cool part is that I actually own two of them myself. I actually imported them from Australia, but I don't. I have the GT versions of that car. So
You
uh,
own the car in this movie?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's another reason why I was like excited because you very rarely get to see this car in any movie. And I was like, oh, that's my car, kind of. Mine is the GT model versus the GS model. So, but still, it was pretty cool to see that. I can bring up an image if you'd like to see that. If you,
Zoom's riding in style. Nice.
I'll give me a second here and I'll bring it up. Now the other cars that were in the movie were kind of lame looking. I didn't really care for them too much, but this one definitely stood out. If you ever see the movie, have you ever seen the movie Mad Max from 1979?
I have not.
In that movie, Mel Gibson drives a bright yellow red police car, and it's the same body style as this one. So it really stands out. It's pretty funny. Actually, let me bring that up real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's see. All right. Okay, here we go. Here's the I'm bringing that up right here. Here's the car that Mel Gibson drives in the movie. You can see it's this essentially the same car.
Ooh,
So,
yes. That's a
um,
nice one too.
and here's Mel Gibson standing next to it, a picture of Mel Gibson standing next to the car. So, um, if you ever
Sweet.
get a chance, I would recommend this movie. This movie is definitely not a B movie. It is an Australian movie too, so it's 100% Australian. So you see nothing but Australian cars in it.
That's awesome.
So, let me give me a second here. I got to find the other website. I can show you something else here. Okay, good. Here we go. Just about to bring it up. I think this is it. I have to bring up the archive website because what happened was the website I'm bringing up no longer exists. So what I have to do is bring it up to the archive. Okay, here we go. Now this is my car. This is one of mine right here. Here's mine. Uh, I own
Oh, wow.
so that's black, black on silver. So like I said, mine is the two-door version. So it has a slant in the back, whereas the one in the movie did not, and has different taillights. So mine's the all-out performance model. It's like the one that was most sought after out of all the cars that were made. So you can see the headlights are in the front are pretty much identical the way it's laid out. So,
That's so cool.
and let me bring up another one. There's another one over here. One second. Oh, wait a minute. Where am I at? Oh, it's weird. It's not coming up here. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Oh, here it is, right here. My other one is it's like the second one down. There it is. That's my red one. So
Wow.
so the this one obviously is they're both actually very eye catching when I drive them. So people are always looking at them. I have people taking pictures of them too. So
Oh, for sure. Those are really good looking cars.
yeah. So anyway, like I said, when I saw that in the movie, I was like, oh, I got this. That caught my attention right away. It's like, there we go. I hardly ever see, very rarely ever see those cars in a movie. So it's like so funny to see them there. But anyway, I just wanted to add that. So anybody that's watching the movie, that's that's the Ford Falcon. It's the Australian version of the Falcon because the American version of the Falcon they stopped producing that in 1970, but they continued it in Australia, and I know they continued it up until this century. I'm not sure if they still make it today. I'm not. They might have discontinued it by now. So, if anyone's wondering why it looks so different from the American Falcon, it's because when they continued into the 70s, they completely redesigned it. The American Falcon looks a lot different than that. So anyway, I didn't want to distract too much from that. So
No, it's if I could become a car person, I would. I just don't know much about it, but I think anyone can appreciate a good looking car,
yeah,
and it looks really nice. So,
yeah. And the when this movie came out, the car would have been only like a decade, like 10 years old. So it'd be very common to see them on the streets, like you'd see like a car like that was like from 10 years ago on the street. So nowadays they're extremely rare. You don't see them. They're all the only ones that are left are owned by collectors like me.
yeah, nice.
So getting back to the movie, when I'm not even sure what the exact plot was. When I watched it, um, so the two guys start off and they encounter a young guy in another car, and they're cheating. That other guy is trying to sexually have sex with that girl, that young woman, and they're
Okay,
chasing. Uh, that was kind of weird. I mean, the whole thing is weird.
so what it is I'm just sending you a clip. Um, what it's about is it starts off with a guy who is trying to get with a girl, and they he wants to take her to his cabin, and he's trying to set up this romantic situation. Meanwhile, at the same time, there are these two guys who just have a passion for killing, roaming around, and those two groups cross paths. You've got the evil guys, and then the evil, not so good intentions with the girl guy. They cross paths, and it all starts off with the crash scene where the whole thing's really set off when this guy hits one of the bad guys in the while he's driving, and it's actually the funniest. It's one of the funniest crashes I've ever seen in the movie.
This is the scene, right? I have
It is, so it's the second from the bottom of the clips I sent you.
Okay, yeah, this is it then. Okay. Is that it? That doesn't look like.
Here, I'm gonna send it to you again.
Okay. I still got the wrong one then. Oh, okay. Here's the other one. I see it. I got it. It's actually the third up from the bottom. I think this is one.
Okay.
I think this is it. Hold on. Maybe this is the right one. This one says crash scene 2.
It says, actually, this is the crash setup. So.
Okay, that one was the one I just showed you was the one that says that has that title on it. So.
Then you should have it correct.
Let's see. I'll try it again just to see.
Either way, there's.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I did click on the wrong one. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Okay, here we go. I apologize. I'm bringing this up. Okay, is this what we're looking for?
It starts at about 11 minutes in.
11? Okay.
That is equally a good scene. Equally good. I mean, look at these guys. Will do whatever they want. Clearly, that guy's okay. So also in the beginning of the movie, his pants rip, and he spends the rest of the movie with like half of his pants. This is a good driving scene, so feel free to continue here. This movie's full of the silliest moments ever, and just it must have been so fun to be this age in the 80s because you really could just do what you want, say what you want, act how you want, and I mean these guys make driving look fun. This is one of the best parts of the movie.
This is where the crash comes, where basically what's going on is he's about to get hit by a car.
So blue shirt is the guy who is light blue shirt, excuse me, not that one. Light blue shirt is the guy who tries to get with this chick.
Okay.
And
I'm gonna jump in. Okay, here's the actual crash scene.
Yes.
Here we go. Ready? Here we go.
This is the best crash you'll ever see in your life. It goes in a little bit from here, but you can see the setup of their anger, and it just shows. There we go.
There we go. Finally got it there. Okay. Now basically, I don't mean to interrupt you here, but this is basically what starts off the whole chase between these two characters chasing after the other guy. Is that right? Did I get that right? Because before that, they didn't know the two guys didn't know the other guy existed.
Correct.
Okay.
They were just looking for someone to be mad at. Nice middle finger there.
And he was supposedly just hit by a car. They just go off and chase after him. So, yeah.
I've never seen someone have only their knees hit by a vehicle before. Yep, throws them in the car, just throws them right in. And they're off. And they are ready to kill.
Yeah, now the rest of the movie, as the whole plot is just basically them chasing after this guy, and he eventually switches cars. And it turns out that the guy that hit the other guy with the car, he's also kind of a scumbag because he meets this girl this young woman who's that like sitting on the side of the road. He just says, "You want to go out or something?" Did they even know each other or something? There was what was that scene? I don't think I got to that point yet.
This girl was standing on the side of the road reading a book. Like here, I have a book um I can demonstrate it. Like she's just reading like this, just standing reading, and apparently that's all you need for someone to hit you up and say, "Hey, come to my secluded cabin in the woods that no one knows about. We've never met. You have no idea who I am.
Yeah,
Let's go."
here it
Right
is.
there.
Yeah, yeah. So I, I was a little confused. Like I can bring the sound up.
Babe, let's party.
Okay.
Hey, babe, let's party. Okay,
That's it. That's all you need.
that's
That's
all. That's
all
in
you
this.
need.
That's all
Um,
in Australia, I guess.
yeah. So innocent girl, she would be the only hero in the movie. But even she wields a gun closer to the end of the movie. She's forced to. And yeah, like you said, they're all scumbags.
And she's not she's the only good person basically in this.
Yes.
Look at this angle for a second here. Okay, okay. I thought the camera was there. I thought they had a slight blooper there. No, it's fine. It looks right. For a second there, I thought the angle was wrong. But yeah, the when I saw this, I thought, did I miss something here? Oh, you're regenerating there. Tina's stream is regenerating, so we'll have to wait till she comes back up. Basically, when I saw this scene, um, I was like, what exactly am I seeing here? Is the guy, do they know each other? And I couldn't figure out what they were doing. Is that, and then I realized afterwards, no, they didn't know each other at all. Now we're waiting for Tina to come back up. Her stream is she's still recycling over and over and over. So the we might have to temporarily go onto a pause here while I try to figure out what's going on. Uh-oh, we lost Tina. So give me a second here while we try to bring her back up. The uh the in that scene itself though, oh, there she is. Are you back? You
That's
okay?
what that was about. I'm just fine, thank you.
Cool, cool. Okay, I was just explaining to everyone why you reappeared. That's the I was watching this. I was like, like I said, throughout this whole movie, I keep on saying the same thing. Did I miss something? Because I thought that maybe they knew each other, but no, they never knew each other at all, apparently, before this scene. And she just hops in the car and goes, "Yeah, let's go out." And the guy he turns out to be a major scumbag. He takes her to a house, a home somewhere in the woods, and he just wants to have sex with her and just feel her up all the time. Um, and at that point, I'm still trying to figure out what the plot is. I mean, what is? Do you have any idea? Have you figured out what the plot was supposed to be on this?
If you don't know what happened, we watched the same movie.
Let me see if I can bring up. Hold on a second. Let me bring this down for a second. I'm trying to bring up IMDb because I wanted to talk about show some of the reviews that talked about this. Now, from what I gathered while reading IMDb, there were hold on a second. I'll bring this up. There were some people that said that this movie was made by kids, and they were excusing that as the reason as to why why the movie was so bad. Was that true? Was this actually made by kids?
I wouldn't say children. I would say I don't know the exact age of the director at the time, but I would say teens or early 20s, enough to have camera equipment and be able to stake out a location and get a group of people. I mean, they were all really young, and it was definitely independently made.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't 16 and older. But I wouldn't say it was made by kids. That's a little misleading, just because while it doesn't make total sense, I do believe there was artistic vision in this. But it was, someone who is now a recognized director. His name's Mark Savage. This
Oh,
was
really?
his first movie, so he went into it with some sort of vision. Um,
Oh,
and
oh,
you know,
interesting.
it is interesting because it's got a vision, but for its flaws, I still love it. And there's some pretty funny moments in this movie, so I strongly encourage it. Particularly, there's a gas pump scene, and I have a link to that if you would like to show that later.
Sure. Do
After
you want to show it now or?
we can stick to IMDb, whatever you're feeling.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead. Well, you go ahead and finish what you were going to say there.
No, that's all really.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know who's. I'm trying to. What else has Mark Savage? What else has he done? I'm trying to go through his list here. Do you have any? Do you know anything off the top that he's done? Is he primarily
Not off
Australian?
the top. He definitely is a like a gore type of director. There is a movie on that I'm seeing. It's called Purgatory Road, and it's about a bishop with a knife. So he definitely loves the slasher killer movies. He's definitely a gore man.
Yeah. Now,
Violence.
the interesting thing about this movie and the one the Marauders is that they both have the exact same rating, 4.4, I think. So, not really too high on either of those. I think it was 4.6 on the other one. So
I thought it was out of 5, not out of 10. I was like, wow, that's really good.
yeah, I can't comment on any of these movies. I don't know. Let me just go back here and see if I can see anything else I recognize. But that's interesting to see someone actually, what they were doing early on. Now you mentioned his name, so I mean, had you heard of him before you saw these movies?
I had never heard of him, but from what I did a little bit of snooping around, people do really like his movies, and I think gore movies in general have like a really hardcore, diehard audience. So if you really like gore movies, you love gore movies. You don't just kind of like gore movies; you're a huge fan. So while I'm not entirely a super gore fan, I used to watch. We all watched Saw. We all watched, these gory movies in the 2000s that was really popular. That oh, there's a name for it that
I,
escapes me.
honestly, I've not probably not seen any of those. Any of the ones more recent ones. I've not seen Saw. I've not seen anything
What?
more.
What? Oh man. I mean, you probably don't watch it now, but back when it was popular, you know, Zoom, you didn't play a game? You want to play a game? You didn't play a game like that? You don't know this line? You want to play a game?
No, I don't think I've heard that. No.
Oh man. Oh
No.
man.
Yeah.
You are missing out.
There's an era in my life when from like early 2000s up to about 2013 where I did not really focus on anything that was going on as far as movies go, and I had no idea what the movies were. And I started about 2013, 2014. I started looking back, and I watched people doing movie reviews. I started going back and watching some of the movies that I'd missed. So I know of Saw, but I'd never seen it, so I don't know what it's about. The one gore movie, if you can call it a gore movie, would be the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Um, that uh, I'm not too much of a fan of of those kinds of movies, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre for me was actually really good. That was actually a really good movie.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
uh, I
Uh-huh.
I saw that
It's
a long time ago. Then I saw it recently within the past couple of years. Yeah, I remember how good this actually is. Um, the but no, as far as these other movies, no, I've not seen any of them. So I guess I have to check them out. Which ones would you suggest? Saw one of the good ones to watch?
Ooh, would I suggest Saw for its cinematic value? Like it's a critically acclaimed movie? Probably not. Would I suggest it for, oh my God, what the hell did I just watch? This movie is insane, like in a goofy way? Yes. I don't know how it would be really interesting to like get your comments on it from these years later, all these years later, because I'm assuming it didn't hold up well. But, back in the 2000s, I feel like there was did you ever watch Final Destination? There was just
Mm.
this fascination with like what if people died in these crazy ways? And there was like this torture type of fascination where they made torture look glamorous. They made torture look um like it was a game, like not appealing, but it was like, okay, this is so outrageous. We know it's not real, but like, what if? There was something about it was like a time and place. So I would be very curious to see your thoughts on some of these movies.
Yeah.
You might like them.
I might like them. I mean, like I tried to watch I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre within the past few years. I watched the sequel again, and the sequel to that is not really that good. It's kind of lame. Um
Yeah.
I don't think I saw any of the other ones after that though. So but as far as the other movies, I don't know. I've just never had an appeal. I did see the movie Scream. Does that fall into that category? Um or is that different?
I would say yes. I would say it falls into the slasher category, which I
Okay.
would include that. Yeah.
I saw that when well, that was like in the 90s though, wasn't it? I think that came out in the 90s. So,
Yeah.
okay, that would explain why I remember it. Because the other ones you're telling me, I'm like they're going way over my head, like I've never even heard of them. So some of them, um, yeah. So I you'd have to make. I guess it would be interesting if you made a list and maybe I could watch some of them and give my opinions of maybe at least one or two of them to tell you what I think. So
That would be actually really hilarious because there are like there's so many weird movies that happened in this like early to mid 2000s window where people just wanted to find all these different ways for other people to die. And it's kind of weird looking back because I don't think there's that many movies coming out right now that are like that.
hmm.
Um, like you wouldn't know the movie Slither, which is basically like leeches coming up. Now we're involving leeches and weird creatures. You've never heard, and I've never seen this movie, so I'm not endorsing this movie. Anyone watching, you've never heard of the Human Centipede before?
Human Centipede. That's a movie.
Oh my god!
No, I'm afraid not. No.
Wow, wow, that's good because I've never seen it either. But unfortunately, I know what it's about. So you kind of get the idea. But yeah, that would be really fun. We'll make a little list of um, movies that Zoom needs to see for research purposes only.
And now, as far as comparing it to the Marauders, the 1986 movie that we're actually talking about, with, I mean, there's not obviously there's not much gore in this one. In fact, whenever something happens, it kind of like fades away. The only scene that was really kind of getting to close to the edge, pushing the envelope, I guess you could say, was when the one scene where he shoots the woman in the head near the beginning, and the blood comes
Yes.
out. I'm not going to show that because I don't know how graphic that may be, if that might cause a problem. So, but he was arguing with the scene was a little weird because the woman he was arguing with looked like she was old enough to be his mother at first. So and then it turns out they were like, I guess, supposed to be in a relationship or something. That was like, it threw me off. I was like, so, but yeah, then the gunshot was actually, that was actually a pretty decent effect for a movie like this. He shoots her and then there's like the blood, but then was she supposed to be alive afterwards? Or was she just like laying there like dead? For a second there, it looked like she was like still alive for a second.
I think she was supposed to be dead, but there's a few other scenes in a few other parts in the movie where you kind of see people supposed to be dead, but they kind of like going like this or kind of like not exactly. It's like one of those Easter eggs of like, oh, I know they're alive, like they're actually alive.
Gotcha. Gotcha. No,
So
I'm gonna jump ahead here. I'm gonna jump ahead to the end scene where, well, it's towards the end. I'm gonna bring this back up again. So here we go. So this is the scene. There, come on, bring it up. There we go. Okay. So this is the scene that takes place where they have a final confrontation. Um, this is the guy who is trying to sexually uh get into the young girl's pants, so to speak. Um, and the other two guys are confronting them, but and then she kind of tricks him and grabs the gun from him. And the thing from this point forward that I didn't understand, who are the group of people there was a group of people walking out in the woods. What was that about?
So on the adventure, like throughout the adventures of these two guys, they come across many people who, who they cross because their sole mission is to find the guy that crashed into his knees, the guy that hit the other two guys with the car. So they don't care who they get the information from as far as like, oh, where'd they go? Did you see them? What kind of car were they driving? Like, are you sure he went this way? And he comes across people that are like, yeah, he went over on that road, and then they'll go punch him in the. They'll be like, thanks, punch the person in the face, and then drive off. So they make a lot of enemies on their way to finding this guy, and it's all of the people that they pissed off coming back for vengeance. And literally, it's a crowd of 15 people, and most of them are children. So you've got some pretty young people who are coming back, including this goth guy
Yeah,
with the
that's
glasses.
yeah, the guy with the glacier glasses. I was like, what is that all about? What was
Excellent.
his story? Well, I couldn't figure out who he was. Who was he?
He was just the unexplained leader.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I couldn't even figure it out either. I couldn't figure it out myself. But he was just the tallest guy in the crowd and the natural leader. And so these guys, on their mission to find the the guy with the cabin, um, they drive through the country. They go through miles of the woods. They walk through miles of woods. So these people, this group of like 10 or 12 kids, walks all down these roads, these back roads, and marches like 2 miles through the woods to find those two goth guys. Kills them, slashes them. It's all these kids. Yeah, like, let's go find him. You go this way. Yeah.
He
They
gets a
all
big sledgehammer there.
they got sledgehammers, axes, pipes. They have every object you can think of. It's so good.
It's
Somebody,
interesting.
yeah,
It's how people in Australia dress like they did in the United States. I mean, this is definitely 80s. This really looks like the 80s. It's I don't know if you ever look up like 80s fashions. Sometimes I'll look it up just for fun, and you can tell the people that are posing in the 80s clothes never lived in the 80s. They never, and they're like wearing costumes that represent the 80s. They don't look like they're wearing actual 80s clothing. This looks like the 80s. So.
yeah. It always surprises me when I see like non-Americans wearing 80s Mickey Mouse clothes. I don't know why that's such a big thing to me. I love that none of these people are at all phased at the sight of blood, by the way. They see somebody's like head chopped off, just grab it, just touch it, just look around. Yes, how fun it would be to be in an 80s slasher movie.
The
Stab them, kill them.
the end of this, like what one of them gets hanged, the one and the other one with the big hair, what happens to him? I forget what happens to him at the end.
Do we want to spoil it for
Yeah, I
the
don't think too many
viewers?
people are gonna watch this, so yeah. Well, I can't remember what happens to him. What does, we can say spoiler alert here, so if someone doesn't want to watch, they can turn away. But
Spoiler, He dies.
Okay, I think we're good.
That's really it. The two guys get hacked to pieces,
Is
and
that
I
what happened?
don't. Yeah,
Oh,
and I don't remember what happens to the guy with the. I think so. So the one guy gets hanged.
yeah.
The other guy shoots himself. The other friend of the duo, he shoots himself
Oh,
so as to not be killed. You know, he gets the last laugh, and then the other guy gets hacked to pieces. So the only survivor is the girl, and on their way to death, they take out a bunch of this mob. I mean, they don't hold back. It is just a slaughter fest, but
yeah.
it's a very entertaining one. With
The
his pants are ripped the entire time.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the other thing. You brought that up earlier. I did notice that. Like you can see, it was like yeah, his underwear or whatever his shorts.
No explanation there.
And at first, I was like, "Was that in? Was that?" I missed the part where he ripped his pants, so I didn't realize it happened during the movie. So I guess they're trying to keep the continuity going there. But I remember seeing one of those scenes. I was like, "Wow, he's got a." You can see all the way up there. I was like, at first I thought maybe there was just a mistake or something, but I guess now you're bringing it up. Obviously, it was not. So let me
In a
see.
movie like this, every second was planned and intentional and a true masterful work of art. You know, I mean, it may be a B movie, but there's definitely charm to these movies. You know, I can appreciate it being made by younger people, and it may not be perfect, but it's hilarious and I love it.
I'd say it's honestly, I'd say it's probably less than a B movie.
It's a C- movie.
Yeah, the not to diminish what the work they put into this, because obviously any movie takes a lot of work. But I mean, when it came to like they were gonna pouring gasoline on their car, and they didn't light it up or anything, and when they banged up the car, it looked like they switched to a different car. It looked like it was a similar car that they was already banged up, and then they used that instead of actually damaging the car that they were using to where they were using their whatever that was earlier on. I can't remember. There was a scene. I could be wrong on that.
Can we take a look at the gas pump scene that I linked to you? It just gives a good example of the dialogue
Okay.
and the behavior of these guys and really how they were able to make all of these people so ridiculously mad. So Australia, like many parts of the world, I believe, someone else, well, in New Jersey, someone else pumps your gas for you.
Yes.
You don't pump your own gas, and that includes New Jersey, which I just learned, which is insane to me.
Yeah.
Um, but
Also, there's
Australia is one of those places too.
I think in the United States, just to add to that, I know Australia for sure, and I believe Washington State might be the only other state. It's one of the states on the West Coast, might be Oregon. I'm not sure. Um, and it's interesting that you brought that up because there was a friend of mine 10 years ago when I was working at Clear Channel, and he and I were discussing that, and I looked it up, and I think it was something to the effect, at least in those two states, it was a push at the time to make it so that to create a service environment, a service friendly attitude towards the customers. And so those two states decided to enact a law where that the customer didn't have to touch the gas, and it never caught on with the rest of the country. So something to that effect, which was kind of interesting. I thought maybe it had to do with safety or something, but it was more of a service minded attitude. It just keep the customer from having to touch the gas. So, but anyway,
Never bothered me.
yeah, yeah, and a few times I've been to New Jersey. Yeah, I've noticed that's kind of strange. It's like I'm like, oh goodness, I just want to pump my own gas, please.
Yeah.
So leading up to this scene, what was going to happen here that you wanted to discuss?
So this is an example, just to give like an audio visual of this is the beginning of their
Oh, okay, I
mission
know.
This is the
Yeah.
beginning of their mission to find these guys, or the guy and the girl.
Okay. And then she's the one that pumps the gas.
Yes. Yep. So they're going to get gas. They're getting ready. They're going to say, or they were hit by the car. They're like, screw this. We're going to find them. Hop in the car. Go get gas. This is the first thing they do after getting hit by the car. And this is just good idea of how they treat people and what they do.
The now the interesting thing.
Leaded or unleaded?
Just fill it up.
Leave the keys.
The interesting thing, and I know this from experience because I've had to put gas in my cars. For some reason, putting gas into these cars, the gas you have to do it at an extremely slow rate, because what happens is it's something to do with the funnel, the little funnel neck that goes down to the gas tank where you're putting the gas in. The gas will shoot back up the tunnel out and shoot back out onto you onto the ground. It just once it does it's. I've never had a car like that's the only cars I've ever had that do that. And so whenever I get gas for my cars, I have to sit there just pumping the gas really, really slowly. Otherwise, it just shoots right out and it leaves this big puddle on the ground. It's really bizarre.
Interesting.
So I was watching her doing it, and she didn't seem to have to do that for some reason. Of course, it's a movie, so who knows? So.
Just so graphic. It's so lewd. It's so crude.
Uh-huh. The other thing that was kind of interesting is that in Australia, they actually had digital displays for their gas pumps in 1986. That's most of the pumps I remember they're still the old mechanical type in the United States. There were some digital ones, but they weren't weren't very common then. Now this is the scene that comes up. I'm going to give a little spoiler, but yeah, where they.
That'll be $20, thanks.
Okay, I'll let it roll through here.
I haven't got $20. Have you got $20, JD?
No, I got $20.
But I've got this.
And there you have it.
Now she comes back, doesn't she? At the end, is she the one that comes back?
She is one of the people who comes back for vengeance.
Okay, I thought that's what happened. I thought that was her, and they actually show her like wake up, still sitting on the side of the road at a point in the movie later on. I was like, oh, I guess she didn't get killed. They didn't exactly explain what happened here. So I didn't think they shot her because I didn't hear the gunshot, but I was like, just yeah, it was just a bizarre scene. So anything to add to that?
No, I mean, I just think that, I don't know, my twisted mind thinks that's so funny to hang somebody out of a moving car, but that just shows the absurdity and the funny line. There's so many funny like moments and dialogue that these guys have, and it's just so, I don't know if I'm just a huge fan of like the Australian accent or the lingo, the vernacular, the words they use and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just hilarious to me. My favorite. Sorry.
I was just going to say one of the words that they use in the movie, in case you're wondering, is root, ROOT. And I don't know if you're familiar. That's basically that's a different version of the word fuck. So one scene he calls a guy a root head. He's basically calling him a fuckhead. So
Interesting.
Yeah, and so if you ever hear the word root in Australia, it's I think it's considered to be offensive, but not as offensive as actually saying fuck. So, anyway, there's a couple of other. That's the only word I caught on this movie that stood out.
Yeah, maybe just how the way they speak. My favorite scene of all of them, it's so minor, is they're walking through the woods and they just hate each other so much. They just like to piss each other off so much. they're walking on each other's heels, and I don't know why that's so funny to me. Just them walking in the woods and getting mad at each other. They're like, "What direction?" They're like, "No, you idiot." There's just those two guys together is just so good.
I think this might be it.
Right, quit fucking walking on my ankles. I'm not. She just quit it. Why? Don't fucking shit me,
Oh my
Amelia.
God, that hair.
Now you know you're doing it. Now stop.
I'll stop it when you find my car, Mr. Navigator.
Yeah, I'll find it.
Well, get moving.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Is that supposed to mean something? Walking on someone's heels, or is that an Australian thing? Maybe.
No, it's just obnoxious. It's just unnecessary. It's just being a punk.
Yeah.
They don't stop. They don't stop, and that's what's so funny and convincing to me.
Mm-hmm.
They never let up.
I will say this. I'm not trying to belittle the woman in this, but she is really tiny. Some of these scenes, these guys are standing a foot or more taller than her, and she's dwarfed by them. Now, either they're incredibly tall, or she's just really small. So,
I think a combination of both. I mean, she has to hold a shotgun, and the shotgun, I believe, is like, as you know, if you held the shotgun like this,
yeah,
it's as tall as she is.
okay,
It's so funny.
Yeah. Here's the scene right here. Well, there it doesn't look like she's that short, but there was a scene later on where she was standing next to two of the guys that she looks so small compared to them. So, my memory might be off it too, but yeah, I see what you mean about the gun. Yeah.
She gets to the house, and that guy starts saying, "Okay, here's the plan. We're gonna have sex. Like, you're gonna deal with it." And she's like, "What? I didn't agree to this. I thought we were just hanging out at your cabin in the middle of the woods nowhere where anybody couldn't hear me scream if I did." And he's like, "Nope, you had the wrong idea, girl. We're doing it." And then she protests, and the other guys come in at the same time, and they're like, "Gotcha." So now she's got 3 guys that are insane. She manages to get the gun.
Yeah, through like a little scene. I don't want that one gets a little sexual. I'll leave that one out just so they don't. I don't know. It might be a little bit of a censor issue on that one, so I don't want to.
Yeah, jump ahead. When she gets the gun, that's good. Right around here.
Yeah, I'm trying to. There we go. A little bit more. There we go. We'll go back ahead. There we go.
Stop.
Hey, fuck you, Becky. You ain't no magistrate. No, she's a smarter cookie than you, shithead.
And you, why didn't you call the police? They would have handled it. Why didn't you do that?
Maybe we wanted to handle it ourselves. The police wouldn't have done shit anyway.
So you've been on our tail since this morning. And you've probably known they were behind us all along.
What of it? It's still none of your fucking business.
I'm here, aren't I? Doesn't that make this whole mess my business too?
I can't.
No, I'm not trying to mock her or anything, but I would venture to guess that she probably doesn't know how to use the gun. It looks like she doesn't even know what she's doing when she's holding the gun, and someone could probably just grab it from her and turn it on her very quickly.
She has no idea. She looks like she doesn't even want to have anything to do with the gun. Blue Shirt's face is what makes me laugh the most, and I call him that guy and those guys because the movie doesn't do much to even say those guys' names. They don't really have names in the movie, but hilarious.
Blue Shirt. So is that the guy that was the guy?
Yes, right.
There?
Yep.
Okay. It looks kind of greenish to me, so I wasn't sure.
Green, blue.
Yeah. Okay.
Green shirt.
Guy. And all the guys have mullets of some kind. So not all of them, but it's kind of funny. He doesn't really have one. But overall, so what would, as far as this movie, what kind of, I guess there are like 2 kinds of ratings you could give this movie. A movie based on like B style movies, and a movie based on how it compares to like the rest of the movie industry, I guess. How would you
like critics rating and crowd rating?
No, like basically if you had it in 2 different categories, like comparing it to other B movies and comparing it to movies like worldwide, all movies together, I guess.
I'll give my ratings, and then you give your ratings.
Okay.
So, as a standalone B movie compared to other B movies, I would say this movie is high on the list of should watch because of how absurd it is. And it's actually pretty short, so you can pop it on and do stuff while it's playing and stuff like that. I think it's hilarious and goofy, and listening to these people will make you laugh. However, compared to all movies in the world that have ever been made, um, I think it's I would say memorable. Maybe um, not for the quality, but memorable for the mystery of the artistic vision. We'll put it that way.
Okay.
The mystery of what the hell am I watching?
Now, since you pointed out that they had no names, I wanted to go back to IMDb.
Do they
And
even have names?
there are at the very top right here. 5 of the characters do have names. I remember hearing the woman's name is Becky. I think I
Oh,
remember.
Becky, yes.
So, the one character's name is JD. I don't remember hearing that. Another was Emilio. I don't remember hearing that.
I don't remember hearing that either.
And David was another character. Don't remember that one either.
Don't remember that?
And John Smith. That was supposed to be another character. Not sure.
I believe John Smith is supposed to be the goth guy, the really tall guy with the sunglasses you had mentioned. Yes.
Yeah. Glacier glasses. Yeah.
Oh, also another Australian filmmaker. So maybe that was a cameo crossover movie to movie. Maybe there was, what is it, payola? I do a movie for, you're in my movie, I'm in your movie kind of situation.
Well, he's
maybe. My guess.
Let's see what he's produced real quick. Looks like he came out about the same time though. Okay, I see. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, possibly. Yeah. So he has some movies that came up before that where he was a director. Okay, interesting. That's a very interesting idea. Cool. I wonder if that's true. Yeah. Yeah, he did stand out. It was very, because I was kept on, because they kept on focusing on him. Like there's a scene where he was sitting back watching the couple, like the guy was trying to get sex from the girl, and they kept on showing him, and I was like, what was the significance of that? It was because he wasn't really showing up until that point, if I remember correctly.
He just appears in the movie.
Yeah. So it just seemed kind of a weird introduction there. I didn't, and like I said, I thought I missed something, but as usual, as with the whole movie, it seems like I missed a lot of things, but I really didn't. There's just nothing really.
You saw it all. You saw the whole thing. Like I said, if you don't know what you watched, congratulations, you saw the whole movie.
Now, as far as like a movie based on like say a B type movie, if you're really into that, yeah, I'd give it a high rating. If maybe like a 7 or 8 out of 10. So because people want to see that. But yeah, compared to movies overall, no, I would not give it a high rating. It does not live up to any standard I could really think of in that realm. It's more of a I don't know if you call it a cult style movie, but definitely definitely a movie that it has a preferred taste. And that's what it has. And I don't think a lot of people would have that kind of preferred taste, to be honest. So
I'd call it a DIY horror.
do your own?
Like DIY, like just take a camera and have at it.
Oh, okay.
That's what I like. I really do like the movie, but that's just me. Who am I?
Yeah, it's a fun movie. I definitely agree. It's but I like I said, if I was in the mood for watching a B movie, this would be something I'd watch and like. But as far as like overall, no, I wouldn't. If I had to pick the other side, no, I would not say that. I would have to say no. So I'd have to be in a specific mood to actually watch this. So I was trying to. some of the people here, as you can see, I'm going through the ratings. I don't know if you can see what some of them are saying. Some people give it high praise. Other people say really bad. So um, it's all over the place on this. Let's see what this. There was one comment I was trying to. I read through these, and one person. I guess there's only 5 reviews. So I guess these are all of them. One person in particular said that to give it a break, primarily because it was made by kids, as he put it. So I guess I don't know if that's really. I think we you and I touched about that earlier, but the and you pointed out, no, these are not really kids. They're definitely in their. Looks like they're in their 20s, maybe. Some of them are pretty young.
Yeah. Well, it's always so tough because as I get older, I feel like young kids look older. Like whenever I see, like, younger kids always seem to look much older than they are. So maybe I'm just falling into one of those things where I'm just giving them, credit. And that could be like, I don't know. You know how in like TV show, like kids TV shows, they'll cast like a 16-year-old to play like a 12-year-old, and they'll have like a 20-year-old to play like a 15-year-old.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's like that kind of effect that I have, where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, they're like my understanding of age when on screen is completely off. Could be something like that.
The an example of an age. Have you seen Back to the Future?
Yes.
Okay. Michael J. Fox was, I think, 25, if I'm not mistaken. He was supposed to be playing a 17-year-old. I think he was in his mid-20s. I think so.
Perfect example.
And if you go one step further, the sequels to that movie came out 5 years later, and so he was closer to 30 and still playing a 17-year-old. So.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Could I play a 17-year-old? I don't think so. No, I don't look 17. Not even for Hollywood standards.
Yeah, when I was growing up in my early 20s, I had people say I jumped all over the place. Some people would say I looked like a teenager, and they would say I was a young kid. Other people would say I looked like I was closer to 30. So I was all over the spectrum for some reason. People, they couldn't judge how old I was. It was really bizarre. So nowadays I look a little older, so I don't fall to that anymore. So
there's like you cross a certain point where it's like, okay, I can totally tell you cannot pass as a child.
Yeah.
But then it's like either you're a child in movies or you're playing like parents and older. Like there's no middle for that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very either you're 30 and you're playing a 16-year-old, or you're 35 and you have all this makeup on to look like you're like Benjamin Buttoning type of thing, where it's like now you're playing really older. But
right.
I don't know.
There's another example. I like this one a lot as well. Have you seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yes.
Okay, his friend in the movie, Cameron Fry, okay, that guy when they made that movie, I believe, was 30 years old. He's supposed to be playing like a 16-year-old, so or an 18 or whatever however they're supposed to be. So.
Oh my God! Why don't they just get kids to play that stuff? Why don't they actually? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess they could. But I mean, if you have a good enough actor that can pull it off, I mean, what's the difference, right?
It really damages society because we're out here thinking 30-year-olds look like they're 16, and then you talk to a real 16-year-old, and then now the rest of the world is confused on what a 16-year-old is supposed to look like.
No,
just confuses everyone.
The interesting thing is the guy that played Cameron was in one of the Star Trek movies. Have you seen the Star Trek movies? Any of the Star Trek movies? Okay, he was there was one called Star Trek Generations. He played the captain of one of the new Enterprise ships. And he comes on as like you could tell his real age at that point. He definitely didn't look like a 16-year-old. He was like, he had gray hair, and he's much older looking. It's like, I'm thinking to myself, how did he age so fast? And I looked it up. It was because he was so old when when he made Ferris Bueller's Day Off, that it was, it wasn't, they just were able to pull it off with that movie, but only, I think that movie came out in 86, I think, or 85. And then the Star Trek movie he was in came out, I think, in 96. So it was like 10 years apart. And he looked like a lot older, So he was just basically showing his natural age, I guess, by that time. So it was kind of funny to just like, how did he get so old? And then, you look it up and oh, okay, he was already up there in age to begin with. So
Like, yeah, he already was that old.
yeah. So, but yeah. So, okay. Well, did you want to add anything else to this?
I would add, if anyone does watch this movie, please let us know, because I would love to share this masterpiece to the world. B movies are great, and if you can watch this movie with the lens of, oh, this is like a ride, versus I'm supposed to try to give this movie an award, like at the Golden Globes or whatever. Don't watch it like that. Go in with a clear mind and a good attitude, and you'll love this movie. And tell us, please. I would love to hear from anybody.
Okay. Well, what I'll do is I'll post a link to the video in the video description. So if anyone wants to watch it, they can do that and leave a comment below to tell us how you feel about it. And then we can maybe talk about it in a future episode.
Please, please.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap everything up. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Thanks, everybody, for listening to us and spending your day, night, morning with us.
Cool. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed the movie. Like I said, I'd have to be in a certain set of mind though to watch it. I wouldn't. I could not. I honestly, if I was in the wrong mindset, I could not watch it. But I was definitely in a good mindset last night. Once I realized it was a B movie, because at first I thought it was not, and I was like, I was like, what is going on? And then I realized, okay, this looks very. I could see, okay, this is not exactly the higher caliber I thought it originally was, and so I changed my mindset and I started to enjoy it more. So I definitely did. So. All right. Thanks everybody. And we'll hopefully have a new show soon for you with TNZ, and we'll see you later. And hang on there for a second, Tina.